We're joined now by defense and security expert Dr. Kabir Adamu. He's also the CEO of security firm Beacon Consulting. Thank you, Dr. Adamu, for joining us on Newsnight.
My pleasure. Good evening.
Right. If the state governor is blaming herdsmen for attacks in his state, is that a way of surrendering to fate?
Well, the fact that he visited the chief of air staff to his complaint and request for some additional deployment does not tell me he's surrendering to fate. However, I think the statement, perhaps he's a new governor, even though he's got a pedigree. He was a former parliamentarian, has been in government for a very long time, understands the complexities of the security challenges within the Northwest and North Central region. So perhaps he's basing his statement on intelligence. And I'm hoping that he has shared that intelligence with perhaps the internal security organizations such as the police. The response of the air staff was quite instructive when he speaks of the non-kinetic approach and calls for good governance. I think those are things that the governor should take seriously. The chief of air staff was quite categorical in saying that empirical studies have shown that only about 25% of kinetic can solve internal security challenges. So squarely, it's telling him that most of the responsibility lies between the state government and the federal government. And I'm quite delighted with this statement by the chief of air staff.
We'll still come to the issue. I mean, the chief of air staff advising the state governor to deploy non-kinetic strategies. We'd like to explore that even further. But let's talk about these activities of illegal miners. How do you effectively tackle them? And it also raises questions as to the exposure of Nigerian soldiers in the front lines.
Let's start with your first question, which is illegal miners. Certainly, this is a problem, a challenge that has been existing for quite a while. As far as I understand, mining is in the exclusive list. So the federal government has most of the responsibility. But then there has been this argument between the state government regarding the federal government issues a license and then the state government wants some level of control. So in terms of managing that, I think there is a need to look at the constitutional provisions on mining. If the states want to play a bigger role in terms of understanding who it is that comes into their territory to mine, then I honest opinion, they have a right to do that. But then let's remember that most of the state governors have significant influence in the National Assembly. If they want such a constitutional amendment to take place, I believe that it would take place. So again, the onus is really on the governors. Mobilize the parliamentarians, those aspects that they want to be amended. I think this is the time to actually be serious about it and then to amend it. No doubt, all over Africa, from the Congo down to several other parts of Africa, including Nigeria, anywhere there is mining, you see this type of challenges. So it suggests that there is a correlation between mining activities, whether illegal or legal, and sadly some of the security challenges that Africa is having. And like they always say, follow the money. If the governor is suggesting that these herders use their cattle to ferry the lithium and other minerals that they might be taking it to. Who are the buyers? Who are the agents that are supporting them in that regard? So again, I think internal security components, not necessarily the military, should answer that, and how the governors, through perhaps the governors forum, through the several councils that we have, attempt to manage this challenge would be. I see the military playing a very small role, really, in this regard.
The second question as to the exposure of Nigerian soldiers, how can they be better protected? I mean, where you have this kind of casualty levels, 13 soldiers dying or losing their lives, unfortunately, in one fell swoop.
The figures are actually a little bit higher than that, and I'm very, very disconcerted seeing there are some horrendous videos going around on social media, and sadly some of them have actually been verified. The figures are above 20 actually, if you include both the military and vigilantes that lost their life in one of the incidents, because there were two incidents actually. The helicopter that was felt, we still don't know the number of persons in that helicopter. So the figures could even be higher than that. With regards to your question, how do we protect our soldiers? I think the answer lies in intelligence, improved capabilities, more force multipliers, including communication. Technically, and I'm mindful that I'm in a public space, we have ungoverned spaces in Nigeria that are occupied by non-state armed groups. And those non-state armed groups are supremacy of the use of force by the government. They are successfully attacking our military, and in this instance, possibly bringing down an aircraft. Frankly, by now, I expect that we should have convened one of the several bodies that we have on security, because this is a national security matter. A non-state actor in our military in the manner that they did should not be handled the way we're handling it at the moment. So I'm quite disconcerted, quite worried, and it speaks to the fact that there are ungoverned spaces that are being occupied by these non-state armed groups. To solve the problem, we need to improve intelligence. Who are these persons? How are they getting the kind of weapon? How are they able to carry out this type of military-grade attacks and be successful about it? Yes, intelligence will answer all of these questions.
Dr. Kabir Adamu, we have to say thank you to you at this point so we can get into the other news. Thank you indeed for joining us on Newsnight, security expert, CEO of security firm Beacon Consulting. Thank you for joining us.